I've got a few pretty major updates since we last chatted about behind the scenes business stuff. Welcome to the Sewing Report. I'm Jen. This channel is all about sewing crafts and DIY projects. A few weeks back, I posted a video and I kind of spilled all about business, sponsorships, YouTube money, all of that, and I have some updates, so I just wanted to check back in. We'll chat again. If you're just coming to this video and you want to see what I said recently, I'm going to link it up here and below down in the description box. I have a bit of a different approach to things like sponsorships and generating revenue. If you don't know, I used to work at CNN and I was a TV producer for many years in local and network newsrooms. One of the big reasons I left corporate media was for the freedom. I wanted to be able to call my own shots, not have to do what somebody else told me to do, and I wanted to be able to do kind of whatever I wanted for this channel. And I feel like over the past 4 years, for the most part, I've very much been able to do that. I haven't done very many sponsored videos. I think I've done like maybe 2 or 3. And a handful where somebody sent me product in exchange for a video. A couple years ago, I decided to go really away from that whole route. Now I have a policy where if a company or somebody sends me something, there is no guarantee of coverage and they have no editorial or creative input into any content I produce about said products or services. And I feel like for me, that's been working pretty well. The caveat though is that of course, one big moneymaker typically for YouTubers and for bloggers is sponsor content. So I kind of put my heart out in the last video and I asked you guys for feedback, and I wanted to let you know I read every single comment and I really appreciate. There were people that really took a lot of time to write very heartfelt, very insightful things, and I really took a lot away from that. I'm not saying I'll never do sponsored content, I'm just saying it's not very likely, and whatever it is would have to be like the perfect fit. So that's probably not something you see here, and I really take a lot of pride in making sure that I myself try to be as unbiased as possible when I'm reviewing things or when I'm sharing things with you, because this matters. Even though you're like, wow, just a little silly sewing channel, I look at reviews whenever I buy anything. So if you feel like that source doesn't have credibility, you're not going to trust them as much if they put out a review on a camera or on a sewing machine or on some sort of sewing or quilting tool. And I really want to make sure that I'm kind of upholding a standard for myself that I feel is authentic to you, the viewer. Obviously, we're all consumers, and let's get real here. Most of us do not have endless amounts of money to drop on random stuff. So if I'm sharing something or talking about something, I want to try to put myself in as objective a position as possible, because I'm influencing you in your buying decisions, and I want to make sure that I'm taking that responsibility seriously. So that being said, since that last video, I've done a few things. There's a lot going on behind the scenes, and I feel kind of bad because I'm a little bit behind with my video production schedule, but on the business end, there's been a lot to do. So I've done 2 fairly big things, and that is launch a Patreon and also launch an Etsy shop. So I want to kind of talk about these 2 things I'm adding to the mix, how I hope that they will intertwine with what I'm doing already here at the Sewing Report, and also kind of explain that I really want to make these things beneficial for you guys. Since I started the Sewing Report, I have a heart for helping people join the sewing community. I want people who never thought they would sew to start sewing. People of all different backgrounds. And one thing I love about YouTube is the fact that this gives such accessibility to such a wide amount of people. When I was a kid, we didn't have these kind of resources at our disposal. If you wanted to learn something, you had to like get a book out of the library or take a class on it. You couldn't just go to YouTube and look up how to change a light bulb or how to sew a French seam. You had to go somewhere physically, and some of these things are cost prohibitive, like a college education. But think about it now, you can go to YouTube, and a lot of the things you learn in a college classroom, you can learn for free thanks to the internet. So I really want to make sure that this platform is for everybody. It's not cost prohibitive. Some people have suggested, hey, why don't you put some content behind a paywall? And I'll be honest, I would kind of rather not do that, only because then fewer people can access these resources. If you're here and you're a broke sewist, I completely understand, and I want this to be somewhere where you can come and you again, this is free. So you can get the same access as everybody else. But I also wanted to add some things for people, again, if you are in a different financial situation and you want to support your smaller creators like myself, I wanted to add a few options. These are completely voluntary, and that's the thing, I don't want to be insisting people donate to my Patreon or buy things from my Etsy shop. These are things, if you like these and you want them, they're out there. But again, no obligation, and if you just want to come here and watch the free videos, that's awesome. And that's really what I want. I do get some money from Google AdSense, but I also wanted to future-proof myself. Things happen a lot in this community, and what if the ads go away or my channel, is no longer able to make any ad revenue? I would no longer be able to do this. I want to continue to keep doing the sewing report for as long as I can. For those of you out there who, and a few of you suggested this, I did kind of soft launch a Patreon, and I was really taking a long time to think up the tiers and what perks I wanted to offer. I see a lot of Patreons out there, and some of them, when you think about it, we're paying like $12 a month for Netflix, or $10 a month for Amazon Prime. And they offer thousands of titles and things to do and watch. So for you to charge something similar, you gotta be ponying up some good stuff. So I really wanted to make the perks something that was actually like appealing and not like, really, Jen, $15 a month for that? No thanks. I'm going to link the Patreon and the Etsy shop below in the description box and also in the first comment, so you're welcome to see more details there. I'll start first with the Patreon. There's a few different tiers. There is a $3 tier for Socialist, and that is just, you like the channel, you want to chip in $3 a month, you think these videos are cool, and you will also get access to content I will post on Patreon for patrons only. It's not going to be like tutorials, more like just behind the scenes stuff. And also for certain tiers, you'll be able to vote on content and also help me gain insight on what the next videos will be, so you can help kind of dictate the direction of what I'm producing here. I am also a supporter of certain people on Patreon, and I love when they've got like a $1 or $5 tier, pretty low commitment, but also some of them, they put out some great content as bonus material. So the second tier is called Super Sewist. That is $7.50 a month, and that has all of the perks as the previous tier. You also get the option to vote on videos I do or vote on certain decisions I'm making. Also, and this kind of ties into the Etsy shop, soon I will be adding an option that you will get a quarterly 10% off coupon code for if you place an order with the Etsy shop. Now, I have not added this yet, and here's why. It's because I don't have a lot of items in the Etsy shop, so I want to make sure that when I add this, you don't go there and everything's sold out and you're like, well, this 10% off coupon is not worth anything because there's nothing I can buy. So, and I'll be talking more about the Etsy shop a little bit later. And you will also get, again, some behind the scenes stuff. Next level is the $15 tier, and this is Sewing Report Squad. So the $15 tier gets the previous tiers, but instead of a 10% off coupon to the Etsy shop, you'll get a quarterly 15% off coupon code. If you like the sewing kits I put in the Sewing Report Etsy shop, and you want to get a discount, the Patreon is a great way to both help support what I'm doing here and also get a little bit of a discount on anything you purchase in the shop. The other perks I wanted to offer is that for patrons that have been a part of this for 6 months or longer, you will get an annual thank you gift mailed to you. And this is kind of my way around the whole giveaway snags. And I wanted to try to find a way to give away some of the things I get in like PR or from companies sending to me. So I want to send the goodies to the Sewing Report Squad patrons. They won't be like crappy gifts. They'll be like stuff that's cool. And I'm really going to put a lot of thought into the thank you gifts. So after you've been a patron for 6 months or longer, you will get a thank you gift then, and then for every year after that you remain a patron, I will also physically mail you a package with a thank you gift. Now, at this point in time, this is for US residents only. The shipping costs for international stuff and the custom stuff is crazy. To the international peeps, I'm sorry, but I also wanted to be upfront with you so you didn't sign up and then you're like, hey, I can't get the thank you gift. If you're international and you still want to join the tier anyways, that's awesome. Just know that at this point in time, I really can only feasibly ship to US addresses. And the other perk for the $15 level is, now this is for individuals only, not like for businesses or brands or like people with something to sell, but I wanted to also help people with their social media following. For the $15 Sewing Report Squad patrons, at least once a quarter, I will be giving you credit in the videos. Now this will be in a graphic in the video itself. This will be verbally. I will say your handle or your YouTube channel name, and I will also link it in the description box and in the first comment of the YouTube video itself. Because I know there's a lot of people out there, you want to get more Instagram followers and you also want people to know about your YouTube channel. I will be doing this only for YouTube or Instagram handles only, so no like Facebook pages or other websites, just YouTube or Instagram. If you are a very small Etsy seller out there, like say you make baby clothes or something, and you do want to get in on this, I will not be allowing Etsy shops, but if you have an Instagram, I will be happy to allow in small Etsy sellers with an Instagram. So hopefully this drives traffic indirectly to your Etsy shop. Again, I also am reserving the rights, like, again, I'm not gonna put anything that's like inappropriate or spammy, and it has to be sewing crafts or like DIY crafty related. So your Instagram can't be you advertising Bitcoin or something like that. So it has to be something within this niche. But if you're part of the community and you would like this shout out, I kind of wanted to make something extra for the $15 level. That is the deal with the Patreon. I also randomly kind of made a subscribe star profile. I'm not really going to advertise that. Somebody found me though and they became a subscriber, so that was cool. Very unexpected. Okay, so let's talk about the Etsy store. I've been working on this for a very long time, probably at least the last year or so. I've been kind of thinking about this. Earlier this year, I did get a Florida sales and resale certificate. So basically that allows me to collect sales tax and also gives me the right to sell things on the internet or physically. So now I'm able to do that. And I've also become a wholesale purchaser for a couple companies. For the first few sewing kits I made, which I announced in the last video, the super simple drawstring bags tutorial, I have a very limited amount of kits available. How this ties in is that I really wanted to make something for beginner sewists. So I will be putting out sewing kits specifically meant for beginners. These are going to be really easy projects, kind of smaller items, something that is very doable in like a day or an afternoon, and something that is very easy to understand for people who are new to sewing. So I really wanted those kits to be available for people who want to get into it. Maybe they don't have a cutting mat and a rotary cutter. That's why I also thought, hey, why don't I make sure these kits have all the pieces cut out for you? So whatever sewing kit I put out, all of the fabric pieces will be cut out. Like if I do like a tote bag kit in the future and it requires interfacing, the interfacing will already be applied. So I want these kits to be basically ready to sew. No prep work involved, because I think for beginners that can be kind of a barrier to doing it, is that you're like, well, I got this fabric in the kit, but now I got to cut it all out and trace all the pieces. That can be kind of a pain point for some people, myself included. So I really wanted these kits to be very easy to follow. They will all have free video tutorials. Again, you don't have to get the kits to make whatever I'm doing. I will include the dimensions for the fabric pieces and if there's any template pieces. But for people who want to get, maybe you see me making this bag and you do want the same fabric, I wanted to make some kits available. For starters, I have not purchased any inventory yet. I'm basically working with what I have. So I do have some bigger cuts of fabric. So that's what I used for this colorway kit. This is the Jennifer Sampo Shimmer 2 collection. Now this is an assortment. I had a really big fat quarter bundle, so I turned those into these kits here. So they will all be a little bit different, but from the same collection. For the rose and the beige kit, I had enough for 5 kits, so I made 5 kits. In the future though, if this goes well, I'm doing this as sort of a proof of concept thing. If you guys like this and buy all the kits, I'm gonna make more kits. I think these are really cute, especially for the beginner stuff, because again, these are perfect for reusable gift bags. How many of us buy like just random paper, just gift wrap, and then you end up throwing it out. So with reusable gift bags or drawstring bags, you can, this is also a gift as well as what's inside. So I thought that would be a really good thing to start off the kits with, and I used the fabric that I had. But if I do more kits in the future, I hope to offer larger quantities, because at that point I will be buying entire bolts of fabric. One thing I haven't done here a lot is promote specific fabrics. First of all, because I don't buy all the newest fabrics. So a lot of the fabrics I tend to use in projects are stuff from like 3 years ago that you can't get anymore. So I really don't want to frustrate you by saying, oh yes, this is this collection, but you can't get it anywhere. At least now, if I'm buying fabric in larger quantities, I can say, yes, this is the fabric I'm using, and yes, I have 25 or 30 of these particular kits. So these will of course be like first come, first serve. When they're out, they're out. I likely will not be able to offer like the same prints over and over again unless I'm doing, there's some evergreen fabrics, like some companies will have fabrics that are reorderable, but if you're kind of new to the fabric scene, a lot of the designer quilting cotton prints, they kind of do one run and that's it. You kind of have to try to figure out how much fabric you need, like if you're a quilt shop or if you're like an online retailer like me, and then once it's gone, a lot of the time it's gone and there's no more. So if it's really popular, you want to order it as much as you can, although sometimes that can be a gamble too, because if it doesn't sell, or like, you know, if I made a kit with a certain fabric and nobody wanted this, then you're also stuck with bolts of fabric. So kind of from what I learned from my friend Brenda, who recently closed her own quilting business, Pink Castle Fabrics, and the Stitchery, is that buying fabric can be risky because you don't know what's going to be really popular or what's going to sell, and some things you think are going to sell don't end up selling. So there's a lot of business stuff I've learned from talking to various people, but I'm trying to be as careful with this as I can and also, you know, kind of mitigate the risk. So that's what's going on behind the scenes. So if you would like to check out the Patreon and the Etsy shops, I will link them below. And let me know what you think about these two things, particularly the Etsy shop. I don't know how this is going to go at this point. It could be a total flop. I could sell out in minutes. Don't really know at this point that I'm shooting it. I'm really excited to do this and to be able to offer something. I also would like to offer some, like I use a lot of things over and over again, and I want to try to be able to offer those myself, like certain scissors or certain sewing tools. So those are some things I will be buying wholesale and hopefully able to offer to you guys in the Etsy shop. But let me know below down in the comments, what do you think of all this? But I'm moving forward and I'm really trying to build out what the sewing report is. But I just wanted to share all of this with you. If you're new here, consider subscribing. I do a lot of beginner sewing tutorials, help videos, and product reviews. Again, I'm Jen with the Sewing Report, and I want to again say thank you to everyone who comes here. I truly am grateful for each and every one of you, and I just want to say I love you all. I'll see you guys again next time.